And I'm Dirty D.
And I'm just Johnny.
And this is the Geek Down on WEMF Radio.
Leaping forward bionically.
Leaping forward bionically, the man said.
Rest
you know what
in
that
peace,
means?
Harry Dean Stanton.
Harry Dean Stanton?
Passed away, man.
Wow. Hold on. Moment of silence. Okay, better. Got that on my system. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Geek Down here on WEMF. I am Pat B. In the house with me, I got to the left of me, my homeboy, Black Adam Willis.
Yes, sir. And it's good to see some familiar faces in here.
A random,
sir.
Hasn't been around in a while, too. How you doing, man?
Yeah, man. Back from the depths of the dirty work life of life.
Yeah,
introduce yourself, yeah.
Oh, it's Dirty D. I thought everybody knew who I was already. No, I'm messing.
No, he gets caught up, too.
All right,
You know what I
all
mean?
right.
The work life catches up to you.
I hear you, man. You all right?
Yeah,
Probably
okay.
not.
Okay, all right. You seem a little antsy tonight.
No, I've been drinking for a few days. I was the best man at my cousin's wedding this weekend.
Oh,
I
you're
gotta keep
recovering.
partying, yeah. Yeah.
Biting the hair of the dog.
Exactly what it is.
All right, well, pace yourself. You're getting a crinkle on the mic there.
Oh, that's my bad.
Yeah.
I can take this out.
All right. And over there, looking very focused, laser focused, you might say. Just Johnny.
Yo.
Okay, I thought you weren't going to respond, yo. He's over there just in his own world. It's all,
Them lasers, man. I'm staring into the light. I don't know if I can hold back.
it's all good, man. You may have a problem. This man's got a habit, but it's all right because also backing us up, keeping it sounding crisp and amazing, DJ Herbie Herb.
Hey.
This guy.
Okay,
All right.
Herb.
And also, if you're catching us on twitch.tv/thegeekdown, you can see our pretty faces and also get whatever's whistling into my microphone. But also over there, if you're watching us on Facebook Live, we got a new image flashing thing over there. So DJ Herb's going to be flashing some pretty pictures at you. But right now, we got to talk to the amazing, the always awesome and spectacular and funny as hell Jen Kirkman, Massachusetts' own, representing New England.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Jen
One of
Kirkman.
the many very funny Boston-based comedians.
Oh, yeah, no, she's good stuff. Dude, we've seen her on At Midnight, seen her on Chelsea Lately.
Yep.
One of the voices on Home Movies, which
Yep.
was originally produced here in Boston.
Two Netflix specials for
Yep.
stand-up, yeah.
Yeah, published author as well.
Yeah, she's doing it. She's
Mhm.
doing it big. So, yeah, she's definitely worth talking to, which we actually got a chance to. So we have this coming up.
Special treat for y'all. So we're going to play that real quick, and we'll be back in a little bit. Herb.
Or like when they, you know,
Patrice isn't.
No, I'm not. This is true. I'm not.
but I think it's like people from Boston, and Bill Burr says this, people from Boston are so funny that you have to be like double funny when you perform there because the average person watching is funnier than a comic, you know,
Right,
like,
so it's a little bit a harder crowd.
yeah, you just have to make sure you have to be really funny. And so, I swear, sorry.
It's okay.
Okay.
I think Joe
They're kind
Rogan
of like
said it has to be the weather, I think. Like you're walking to your car, you're like, God damn it, it's cold. It's a little bit.
Yeah, but it's not like people from Vermont are exceptionally funny and their weather's worse. I
No,
think
I'm
it's
from
like
Vermont and I'm not funny at all.
No, he's
It's okay.
himself. Adam over there is actually from Vermont, and you just shat on his.
It's true, though. She's not wrong.
Oh my
She's not
God.
wrong.
That was so mean to me. But you know, also it's like, cause it's a city, but it's not New York. So they have that kind of underdog vibe, which like they're being defensive before they even get bullied. Like, don't pick on me. I'll be funny. I think it just has that kind of attitude.
All right, no, Jen, just real quick, Phineas and Ferb.
It is so blown out of proportion, my role on that show. I don't want to disappoint you. I did like, they wanted a writer to come in to sort of punch up, like you come in and you add jokes to the script, and there's a teenage girl character, so they thought I might be able to bring some like truth to that. So I came in and sat in a few sessions, and that's really it. And I came up with one idea for one episode, but I didn't ever like put pen to paper and write a script. And for some reason, they've listed me like as a writer. Like my name shows up on the show and everything.
So is it one of those phony IMDb credits that you're credited with?
Well, I wrote on the show, but if you look through my computer, there's no Phineas and Ferb script in there.
no drafts.
The point is, did the joke make it on the show? Is the joke
Yeah,
on
I
the
think
show?
the little jokes I came up with probably
then
did.
credits
And
where
I-
credits due.
Yeah, credits do, but I think people thought I'm like steeped in it, and because then a movie came out, and I was like, I wish I really wrote on it. I'd get some of that movie money.
Dude,
Yeah, that's
you
where the
have
money is.
crushed me so deeply. I was told you wrote,
I know.
Izzy's got the frizzies, I've got records on my fingers, and the platypus controlling me. I'm hurt right now.
Okay, the platypus one, I think that's the one where they tried to build an aquarium in the backyard. I came up with that idea.
Awesome, thank you. Yes.
You just
you justified
saved the
everything.
show for him.
But, you know, the two creators of the show are genius, and they do all the writing. Like, they don't even need anyone's help, but they have people there in case. But yeah, I came up with that idea, and then they're like, great, we'll write the script. And then they go off and they write it. And then I get all the credit.
Oh, well, okay. No, I appreciate you shouting them out right now. That's deep, because you give credit to actual creators. If some of our listeners are comedy nerds, they might remember you from Acceptable TV. And we were talking about home movies earlier, and Shayna here is even talking about
oh, these are some deep cuts. I love it.
We are old school nerds. We have no idea what you're talking about.
And home movies.
Oh, home movies. Hell
home
yeah.
Movies is a Boston show. That was filmed in Watertown.
You played Nurse Kirkman.
And Cynthia.
And Cynthia. Okay, so they weren't all good. I'm sorry.
Horrible person. A bad person.
I apologize, and I will take my lumps.
Hey.
All right. No, Shayna was actually asking about drunk history earlier.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I absolutely love your episodes of Drunk History. They made me laugh so hard.
Yeah, what is the prep for that too? Did they give you the topic before, obviously, and do you research it before you go on and try to remember it the best you can, even though you're going to be wasted while you're
I thought
recording?
they had a time travel machine, though. Maybe
yeah, pretty much. Well, they send you like, here's some topics that we think your personality would be, good for, and you pick one. Oh, this sounds really good. And they tell you to, like, so many people come up to me. They're like, I'd be great at drunk history because I'm good at memorizing dates. I'm like, well, that's not interesting at all. Like, they don't care if you get names right or anything. They just want what's a good event that'll look good that we can recreate, like Lincoln getting shot, that kind of thing. They don't care about what date something was signed. And so you start drinking slowly. So, like, you film some of it where you're slightly coherent and then you keep getting more drunk. So
it's like a good bar story.
They have you on camera when they need you to say something right. You usually say that when you're sober, and then they use it if they need it. If you're like, Dr. something went over there, they use that. But then the rest of it, yeah. And it's the only thing I brag about that I feel comfortable bragging about, because I'm blackout drunk when I do it. So I feel like I'm not totally bragging. But I will say, I think some of the people don't get drunk enough. I'm just going to be scandalous. Yeah.
I mean, rightfully you should be super drunk.
Well, I see cats yakking off, just off screen there, and sometimes on screen. You're talking they're not hammered enough.
Well, some people certainly do, but like I can assure you that when I'm very, very drunk, the last thing I want to do is have a camera in my face, because Lord knows what I will say and how I will act. So
I don't know about you. I'm hilarious.
You should see. The best part is the outtakes, which I think Derek and Jeremy, who directed, they're very kind to me because but they make me seem like a really fun, happy drunk. And there's some outtakes that they didn't use of me, like, are we almost done here? And like, where's my food? And I'm like, what is even? And I'm crying and yelling. And I mean, I remember one of them, I was yelling, no one else is drunk here and you're all judging me. And they were like,
Damn.
They're like, focus, please, focus. So they didn't air any of that, but they showed me the footage, and I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, that's for the DVD set. Yeah.
Like, is there a point where they take the alcohol away? Like, I think you're drunk enough.
Yeah, do they set up designated drivers for you to get home too? Is that all
like,
set up?
Here, or do they keep giving it to you? Like, here, have some blood poisoning. Like,
no, they have someone on set with a breathalyzer that comes over to make sure you're not like going to die.
Wow. No, that's thorough.
Right,
it's like we might have done too much, sure.
Well, respect
they have
them.
someone pick you up and drive you home, but I was like, guys, you need to get me like a hotel, because you can drive me home and then I'll be home like, I feel pretty good. Let me get my keys and I'll go back out. Like, you never know. Someone could go back out. So I got a hotel room. And I was like, just drop me at the hotel.
Miller just like popping into a preschool, like, I'll fight Charlie.
Because that's like every character he plays.
Yeah, he's like 6'7". He's just a huge.
Yeah.
I just imagine it's funny.
It's all hair, I think.
It's all hair.
No, he's huge. He's like a giant, is what I think of him as.
He's like a giant baby.
Yeah. Oh, he's the sweetest.
From what I hear, he's a really good guy. I've actually never met him myself. A lot of cats don't come through Boston when they get to that level.
That's surprising. Boston's a major, well, I don't know, maybe he doesn't do that much stand-up anymore, but that's one of the big cities you want to hit, Boston.
Yeah, they swoop through. They don't hang out.
Well,
yeah.
Boston is for when you're just starting out or when you're really famous. There's very little in between.
Yeah, you know what's good? We get the
I think that is true.
We get the Comedy Central specials here, so anytime some cats are coming through to film those, they come through, they hang out for a few days before then. We actually get to talk to them, and hopefully in like a year they'll be big, and they'll shout us out on I was going to say Chelsea Lately, but I mean, it's to keep it relevant. But
I mean, if you want to be shouted out on Chelsea Lately, but no one's going to hear it because it's canceled.
Yeah, no, sorry, that was not my intent to go there. No Schadenfreude intent.
No, actually, it wasn't. I will say, everyone thought it was canceled, but from the inside, I will tell you, Chelsea took that plane and nose dove it into the ground. She was like, I don't want to do this anymore. So she, in a hilarious way, like we knew for months and nobody was like worried about their jobs. We're like, oh, we're all ready to go. Like it's been enough.
Yeah.
She was so funny, like going on Howard and being like, the E network sucks. Like,
Hey, God, how you
so
want
she was like trying to get out of her contract early. She was
Wow, that's
hoping they
great.
would fire her.
Dude,
That's
she did
great.
them like
And
New
they-
Radicals, man. That's
Hey, so not everybody's that lucky to get
funny.
out of a contract.
No, we just got some behind the scenes stuff. Thank you. That gave us some like credibility.
Right?
It was funny.
Real news.
And they just mutually didn't sign the contract again. But yeah, she was like, I don't care if they fire me tomorrow. I mean, she
And
was
was
like,
she-
I do not want to talk about Lindsay Lohan one more time in my damn life.
So is she just coming up with ideas like, how can I make this the worst show possible?
No, it
I'm going to
wasn't
say the
getting
most
to that.
ridiculous things.
If only she did her own version of Springtime for Hitler, but only with like dancing Trumps, it would have been
Dancing
fabulous.
That would have been great.
Don't put that out
Wait,
there.
no, she
Jen can make
she
that
didn't,
happen. Don't do that.
I
she
mean,
didn't try to like make the show worse, but you could see on air, she would just like throw her cards in the air and be like, who cares? You know, like it was stuff like that.
I'm sure she'd want, like you said, you could only interview and talk about Lindsay Lohan so much before you just go, what's the point?
You start to become a celebrity yourself. And it happened to David Spade back in the 90s when he did Hollywood Minute on SNL. Like the minute you're a celebrity, you don't seem funny making fun of celebrities. Like celebrities get mad at you and then you have all this exposure and you're like, is that all I want to be known for?
Yeah.
Even us people that weren't on it, who were on it once a week, we were like, you know, we don't really talk about Britney Spears and our stand-up acts. Why are we like going on TV once a week and acting like we care? Like it does after a while. You're like, oh, maybe we should stop.
Yeah, well, also,
Yeah, that
it
makes
gets
sense.
once you talk about it and you get that big, you kind of become that thing anyway.
yeah, it's hard
As
to
well.
make fun of the thing you are.
Like
Yeah,
Andrew Dice Clay was like making a mockery of that character. Then he kind of became that character. And it's like,
I
what-
met him. He was so nice.
that's what I hear
Nice
too. And he's
guy.
like this pig and he has this horrible stick, but then it's like the sweetheart family guy. Go
I
meet
was
him.
on Conan. Conan had two guests one night. One was stand-up and one was another stand-up. Usually it's like an actor and then the stand-up. So Andrew Dice Clay was on before me and then I was getting on the couch after him and the producer was like, do you want him to stay out on the couch when you come out? I'm like, whatever he wants. And I was afraid. I was like, he's
Sure.
going to bust me. And then he got off stage and I guess he watched me during the commercial break and I got off stage and I was like, oh, he's going to make fun of me. And he was like, I think you're so great. You're going to make it. You're so talented. You're going to make it. And I said something self-deprecating. I go, oh, Dice, I'm 42 years old. I would have made it big already if it was going to happen. He goes, don't you ever not believe in yourself. Don't you ever say that.
Like that Arsenio episode.
Andrew Dice Clay.
He's like, you believe in your dreams. For me, you believe.
I love it. I love it.
He's like the nicest person, and he's totally not,
Over here.
you know, usually.
So
I would think he'd be like, who's this chick? Thinks she does comedy over here?
Who's
But
this
he
chick
wasn't.
you
I
want to
thought he was-
bang? Something like that, yeah.
it's kind of nice knowing that was mostly a stick, you know?
It is, yeah. But
It's
Yeah.
always
Oh,
dangerous
nice.
with stuff like that, though, because it's like, well, I'm glad he's not like that, but unfortunately, the millions of
idiots
idiots
who think it's the real thing.
But I
Yeah,
love
that's
how
the problem.
many people
Yeah.
don't seem to realize how some comedians.
Yeah, even Norm
They
Macdonald's,
are.
I guess, is a shtick in a way, but that's why he
Foxworthy
sneaks it in.
wasn't really a redneck. He was a thing he put on, but people went with it. And
Yeah, we'll leave
Larry
that
the
part.
Cable Guy was
people
actually
you
a
know,
Larry the
42
Cable Guy.
Asian woman. You know, no one saw that
exactly.
coming.
He's nothing like that. And
Do you know that some people don't know that Larry the Cable Guy isn't Southern and his name's not Larry? Some people
Right.
don't know that.
It doesn't have
Not
that
at
accent at all?
No,
No.
Dan Whitney. He's a nice guy.
Yeah.
He was doing stand-up under his real name for like a decade, and Larry was a character he did. So he's not trying to pretend he's Larry. He thought like,
People
oh,
have
everyone
for-
knows I'm doing
Yeah.
I heard Adam
everyone's
Carolla.
forgot.
What?
I heard Adam Carolla was a guy who called into like a radio show as well as like some construction worker. I don't know if that's true.
Well, you know, maybe that's
This
not a bad
character.
thing. Chris, what's his name from At Midnight? Chris
Hardwick, yeah.
No, not Chris Hardwick. The comedian from Texas who was just one of the dudes who was a regular Twitter commenter, but he was funny enough in his Twitter comments to actually get a spot on the show.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
That's
cool.
great.
Well, Jen, you've done At Midnight.
I was on the very last episode and I won. And I feel like I am not getting enough credit for that.
That's
I'm gonna say you took the crown back for New England.
Oh, I did. Yes, I did. That's exactly what I did. I took it out for New England.
Everybody forgets we have talented people.
No, we don't. I'm from here, okay? We have.
Don't count.
It's Vermont that does it.
We got Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, Wahlbergs,
Chris
we
Evans.
own Hollywood.
Have you been to a Wahlburgers yet?
No, I'm a vegetarian.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Do they have a veggie burger?
I
feel
think
like they wouldn't
must.
have a veggie
Who
burger.
knows?
Yeah, I feel like they'd be like, no. I want to be in a Boston movie so bad. I'm so annoyed. The women in them are never actually from Boston, and I'm
No,
like,
they're
come
not.
on.
Let me see.
So much of that.
You
Like, you
and
know the
Eliza Douche
difference.
Coup in a buddy comedy, in a buddy cop comedy.
Mm-hmm.
You want?
You know, it's funny. I can't.
I
think of
love
any female
that.
actors that are from here.
Yeah, no, it'd be like, what would be the hook though? Because they're cops, but they're also like, I don't know, professional deep sea divers. They punch people in the face with nuclear submarines, something random like that.
Oh,
Perhaps.
see, you should write for Phineas and Ferb. You've got a lot of good ideas.
Oh, well, hey, you put in a good word for me. I'm there.
No.
I think Netflix is offering him a special right now.
Fishermen and PIs.
Shane wants you to be a fisherman first.
Be a fisherman.
Yeah,
PI.
it's like the perfect storm. Yeah, I'm a fisherman and I'm a PI.
I like it.
And I investigate deep sea. Oh no,
you can
know what?
help
I'm a
pirates.
fisherman, and I found a body when I was just fishing, and it got me interested in solving crimes, and I became a PI.
See, look, it writes itself.
No. It's
That's
been
what we
done.
need you
That
to
is the
punch.
plot of at least 3 Murder She Wrote. We can't do that.
Oh, okay. I got a shock, and then they're like, "Oh my God, that's a body," and I'd be like,
Oh my
I gotta
God.
investigate that.
It's not a shot.
I'm from Watertown.
If we can get Angela Lansbury to do a lap dance, I think we got a show.
Yep.
Hey.
Yeah.
Lap dance.
She'd have to sell it.
I would happily take a lap dance from Angela Lansbury.
That's your business.
Yeah.
So it seems
All
like
right,
there's
well,
so
one-
many comedies going towards Netflix. I see everyone's kind of has a special out. Like every month, someone new. Mark Maron's just came out. You have 2 on
I
there.
loved it. It was so
currently.
good.
But
They're doing 52 this year, so I'm sort of like, maybe it's not so prestigious. It's still prestigious to have one, but it's like,
Well, I think
liked it better
it
when
still is, but yeah,
there
like
weren't
it's just
52.
it's getting there's so many now, and that's where comedy seems to be kind of headed is the streaming route. Do you think that's a good thing, or how do you feel about it in general?
I think it's way good because those Comedy Central specials they tape, like they air them once and then it's like not worldwide. So like sometimes I'll wake up at 3 a.m. and I have to pee and I'm like, somebody somewhere might be discovering me on Netflix right now. Like it's 24/7.
Great, but you can do that now with so many comedians that you're not familiar with, and it's just right there.
Yeah.
It's cool.
It's
I
like-
think it's great. Yeah.
All right, so then talk to us about your upcoming special here.
Oh, my tour?
Yeah.
I haven't been to Boston. I didn't come last year because I wanted to build excitement. I've never played the Wilbur by myself before. I played it like with other comedians. And so I want it to sell out. It'll be really cool. It'll make me feel good. And I'm doing all new material. So if anyone has seen my Netflix, it's not going to be a repeat of that. And it's just talking about like crazy things that happened in childhood that happened in Boston and then crazy things that are going on in my life now and like how I'm feeling after the election and all that kind of stuff. So I think it'll be funny and something for everybody, like everyone. I make fun of what was really going on at the Women's March. So I think like, Trump supporters won't be offended and liberals won't be offended, or everyone will be a little bit offended.
But isn't everyone
That's the best
offended
kind of
now?
comedy.
I think everyone's offended by something.
It's always something you don't even expect. You're like, what did I do now? Like, you never know. It's never anything obvious. Like, you come home and you check Twitter and you're like, oh, Jesus.
Well, that's how I get most of my news now. Like,
Exactly.
we know Ted Cruz and I have similar taste in porn. Wonderful stuff.
Hey.
I didn't like click into the story. Is it that he hit like on
He
a porn
liked
account?
it was stepmom porn, I think.
Yeah,
too.
and not only
It
that,
was,
on the official Ted Cruz Twitter. So
And
it was literally like beneath something about like the importance of morality and some stuff.
Yeah, so
then-
he had liked it, then they blamed it on a staffer, and they're like, don't worry, that staffer has been talked to, and he will not be fired.
Oh, he will not be fired.
He will
because
not be
doesn't
fired,
exist.
no.
So,
Because he's not a real guy, and
Because
Ted Cruz
they're
watches
not
him.
firing Ted Cruz. That's why.
Oh my God, that's so funny. I mean, they must not know how Twitter works that we can see your likes.
No,
It's
they're just a bunch of old people like, how's this work again? Oh, no!
He's like, ooh, porn.
And you gotta assume like maybe people have a couple drinks after work, like they're not thinking.
You're politicians after all,
okay,
of course.
you're now giving me images in my head that I can't erase.
Ted Cruz drinking.
Look, it's
Like
sad.
Ted Cruz with like some liquor in front of his computer browsing through porn is now an image.
No, no. I meant like he has a classy like 2 martini dinner. He's talking policy with some lobbyists, and then he's like, I gotta go back to my computer.
I got some work
But-
to do.
You know what? I
I'm from
wouldn't could
Quincy.
have cast him to be like thumbing through it on his phone while he's while he's in a meeting. Just
Yeah, it seems like the kind that would
Oh, yeah,
do
you're
that.
right. I'm being such an old lady. I'm like, it's on your computer, right? It's on his phone.
yeah.
Obviously.
Okay, so this dude's there.
I don't know. I mean, I think if he hadn't made such a big deal about not masturbating, then we wouldn't even care. But you got to just shut up about that
So-
stuff, and then we won't try to bust you when you get caught.
You emphatically masturbate. Like
In fact,
like emphatically masturbate.
why are you putting these images in folks' heads?
Only because
That's Ted Cruz vigorously going at it.
who looks at porn and doesn't masturbate?
Well, you're right. No, fanatics, maybe psychotics, French Canadians.
Like you're just looking at porn for the artistic quality. You're enjoying the acting.
You know, that's when you know
You
you
could
made
just
a
be
problem.
researching.
Yeah, you're
You could just be
researching other
researching.
people's immorality by watching porn.
He has to know what's out there, you guys.
Yeah, he has to
Exactly.
check it to make sure the porn is safe.
No, I know what happened. Can I share a theory? Okay, now he's so
Yeah.
committed to his cause. They want the ultimate way to eliminate abortion and spread abstinence throughout everyone. So he's putting the image of himself just butt ass naked, maybe sweatpants around his knee,
that makes
ankles,
me
and just
never want to
going
have
at it.
sex again.
Yeah, I'm saying, right? Bam.
That's genius.
Yeah.
Oh,
You know, this is it's subterfuge, man. They're very good at what they do. Either that, is providing DNA for like the cloning samples. You know, either way, you know, it's lose for all of us.
This is like the minister in the whorehouse. You know this, right?
I don't know this. What do you got?
Like this is like a minister who preaches against extramarital sex, but he frequents a whorehouse.
Jen, I apologize. This is the direction your interview was taken.
No, I'm enjoying it. I'm just kicking back like, yeah, tell me more about the preacher.
We're way off the rails. So I apologize that one of our cast couldn't be here today. James, who's the biggest Jen Kirkman fan. You have no idea how his eyes lit up.
Nice.
Preacher.
Well, he's active military, so he's away for the next couple of weeks.
Hi, James. Hi, James. Is that thrilling?
Oh no, he's gonna love that.
I tried to say it as flirty as possible.
I'm sure the awkwardness will shine through and make his day. No, Jen, you have been badass and spectacular. I want to thank you so much for talking to us.
I thank you guys. It's been great. And Boston, come out to my damn show. Wednesday, September 20th at the Wilbur Theater.
Awesome. And could you give us a shout out before you go?
Geek-down.com. I will. And I'll tweet it.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All
You're
right,
so welcome.
Jen Kirkman, you have an awesome day. All right. We'll look forward to seeing you.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
All right, and that was Jen Kirkman. Dude, she's just a delight.
Yes, she is.
Yeah, no, it was good stuff, man. I'm glad she took the time to talk to us. She's got a new, she's touring, and she got a first appearance is kicking off in Boston. It's on Wednesday, September 20th, so be sure to check that out.
Yeah, if you're interested, she got 2 Netflix specials on, obviously, Netflix. So.
Yes, sir. All right, Herb, I'm getting a slight pop, so I turn the mic to the side. How you, sound okay? All right, cool. Now, Dirty D and myself, we got to play this game, Mantis Burn Racing.
Yes, sir.
Not just Mantis Burn Racing, but Mantis Burn Racing Battlecars, the DLC. And what does Battlecars do? Well, I'll tell you, my friend. Dude, Mantis Burn Racing is a top-down racing game.
Yep.
It's more chaotic. It's more along the lines of like, I'm gonna smash this dude out my way to land that first place to pull ahead. It's like Mario Kart without the weapons.
Yeah.
Well, now they got the weapons. Dude, I'm digging the hell out of this thing, man.
It's a good thing too. You're not even to cut you off. It's a great thing that this came out because it actually added more modes to the game.
Yeah. It's an expansion of the gameplay and of the repertoire of car augmentation.
Yeah. I didn't like the upgrading system. I thought it was a little weird. I just thought it lacked, but the Battle Car DLC added so much more to this game that actually was lacking in DLC like in the beginning.
Well, I do think the augmentations were a bit excessive, but that's because like with this type of game, it's a combat racing game. For anyone familiar with that genre, it's the style of racing where your object isn't just to pull ahead of the other racers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm faster, I'm better at drifting around corners and such. It's I took this dude out by knocking him in the guardrails. I get points for destruction.
Yep.
I get weapons on the car.
You can go pile your points like if you drift, knock a dude out. That's like a combination of points, so you get like a set amount of experience for that.
Exactly.
So
games
it's really
like
good.
Burnout. Ridge Racer Unbounded.
Yep.
I think a couple of
Ridge Racer, Jesus.
Ridge Racer,
Ridge Racer.
Way back in the day.
Yeah, that was a great game.
Rage Racer was the shiz. I love Rage Racer because
Your cars could flip upside down and keep driving.
Yeah.
Also, all the tunnels were like you could drive up the walls.
Yep.
And just, I'm driving on the ceiling like this is the shit. And then you drop down on them like death from above. That was a racing. That was awesome. On the subject of Mantis Burn Racing, though, this was kind of this had more of a retro feel. We were talking about it before the show, and it was definitely bringing up memories of, I said, the first Grand Theft Auto, which you had actually never played.
Yeah, I didn't, man. That's weird because my first experience was, like I said, Grand Theft Auto 3, and then I went back to Grand Theft Auto 2 and 1, and I was just like, I couldn't get to it. But, you know, it's not like I never played. Like, obviously, we grew up in the era where we, you know, the graphics were.
Yeah, no, you'd move past it by the
you know what I mean?
That's not your fault that you suck it.
But my favorite Top View racer was Hot Wheels. Thank you. That was my favorite one. I used to play the hell out of that game.
I remember that. No, actually, the first thing I thought of, and I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one, the first thing I thought of when I saw this sucker was the top-down point of view and also the way you go around the corners and it's kind of loose steering, and then you can, like, bop cars out of your way. First thing I thought of, because I'm also extra old, RC Pro-Am.
Yeah.
For the NES.
I was going to say, it looks like that game, the Micro Machines Racers games. Yep.
Wait, do you have the video up on Twitch?
It's on. It's playing, yeah.
Okay, cool. Hopefully you're watching us with the review on twitch.tv/the Geek Down. You can actually see the visual of what we're talking about. Because Mantis Burn Racing, one thing that, let's actually get to the proper review.
Yeah.
Because I like the gameplay in general as just a straight racing game.
Yeah.
When it got to the battle elements, that's where it actually started to lose me.
Okay.
Stuff felt more tacked on than adding to the versatility in the gameplay, to the enjoyment period.
No, it was vice versa for me. I just thought it added more content to the game because the game came out like in early March of this year, and it just lacked DLC. Because you know what the other thing about this game that I don't like, it lacks diversity in mapping and like levels. Because it's like you get a day and night mode of each map, and there's like so many maps. The one thing I liked about the game, one of the major things I liked about the game was a lot of different modes: sprint mode, time trial, knockout mode.
I like that too conceptually, but it reminded me of, and I'm not sure if you ever played this, and how many people did. There was a Speed Racer racing game.
No, I never played a Speed Racer. No.
For the back when it was PSX. Well, okay, it was a game set in the Speed Racer universe. You play racers from the Speed Racer cartoon, and the comics and stuff, and it should have been the greatest thing ever. The problem was they put everything they had into the licensing. So you have all the characters, you have Snake Oiler, you have Speed himself, you have Racer X, all that, and the actual cars. You know, you have the Mach 5.
But the game was garbage, I bet.
The game itself, no,
mechanically, the game was probably
the racing
horrible.
was okay, and they did what they could with the different weaponry and a Speed Racer game for the PlayStation 1.
Yeah.
So that limited technology, they still used it to the fullest. The problem is the tracks were garbage because you only had one track. One track for the whole game, and how it worked is you race on this one track. You win to a certain level, and then you unlock an extra turn off on this track.
Yeah.
So it's not like the track expands and gets bigger and bigger. This is a turn you couldn't make before, but now you're level 3. Now you can make this turn.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And now you can go around this level. And it's just you beat the same track over and over again. Now you can do it a little quicker because you have a shortcut.
Yeah.
You know, or you have a faster car so you can break through this wall that before was marked as under construction.
Yeah.
And it's just, how many times
can you play the same track
over and over again? I got that sense from this. It's like
Yeah,
all the
same.
tracks
I agree
were far
with
too similar. I'm agreeing with what you're saying, but I'm saying this is exactly why that bugged the crap out of me.
And you would have thought through the DLC they would have added more tracks, and they didn't. And that was the most aggravating thing about this. Like, how are you going to release more content and not add more levels? Like, if you want the game to survive, and mind you, like, this game is really good.
Oh yeah, no, the game is enjoyable
fun
in itself
until you play it for like 2 days straight, and you realize that this is going to be the same levels and the same, just the same laps and the same. It was just too repetitive after a while. It just the repetition was too much.
Jinx, you owe me a Coke, brother.
So with watching this video, I didn't see any like battle-y stuff happening.
That was just the video of Mantis Burn Racing. Like it's the core game, and then the DLC came out. See,
what the DLC adds is the DLC adds a couple extra cars, and the DLC gives those cars that exist in the game weapons.
Yep.
So each one of those, as you're racing, you have machine guns. You can shoot the previous cars. You have defensive weapons. You can blow them up, or you can throw them off the track. Stuff
on
like
the
that.
DLC cars.
In the DLC,
when you get the DLC,
the DLC adds to all the cars.
All the cars. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
The
And
DLC cars,
there's 3 different class cars, like small, heavy, medium, heavy.
Yeah, essentially your speed class, your 10
and then
class.
what the DLC does is the game was just about racing, doing different types of styles, like mixing different, like a drift into a knockout, gets you extra points and experience. And then as you unlock different game modes and stuff as you progress, there's different ways you can play the game, and just you exhaust everything. The battle cars actually added the element which made it more fun to me, honestly. But what I didn't like about what they added was like it got generic really quick. Like the weaponry wasn't enough. Like you just got like that one tank gun and that's it. Like you didn't get something. Like I would have appreciated like a cluster bomb or something.
Yeah,
that
dude, if they
cool.
had gone full on Contra with the sucker.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Or like a red shell or a mushroom or some sort.
Well, here's
encroaching.
Stop. Here's what I noticed. Tell me if you got this too. The weapons didn't really help with the racing aspect, with the difficulty of the AI. It was all the exact same level. They didn't have different levels of racers. It's just like everyone blows past you at every start of every race, and then you have to catch up to the pack, and they're all the same. There's no variation, And
I think that's why they did the DLC battle cars, because like you know how you when you start the match, like each lap that you start each match, you can't use the gun until the first checkpoint.
Yeah.
So like the guy's like booking on you, and as soon as you hit that checkpoint, he's like, all right, let me even this out. Boom, blow him up real quick.
That seemed like a mechanic to maintain a level of I don't know, like uniformity in different types of racers. So it's like you're not being blown away by someone who's just better at the game than you are.
Exactly.
Also to facilitate multiplayer racing. So when this gets to the level of we got several hundred people online to choose from. You get like 8 characters in this race, and you're just with different like human players, not just AIs.
Yeah.
So you all can't just
dominate.
Exactly. There's no like Zerg rushing.
Did you get a chance to play it with multiplayer online? Did you?
I didn't, unfortunately. No.
I actually did. Yeah, I did. It was actually cool. I sucked, but I'm not gonna say I was the champion.
Know your limitations. It's good that you stay in your lane.
I didn't Mad Max
literally
this.
and figuratively. So when you a jive sucker, you need to race with other jive suckers. And I applaud you, my man, for acknowledging how mediocre and weak your skills are. It takes a big man to realize how small he really is.
So speaking of that
you can come across the world, the internet, the World Wide Web, and let people know that you're weak sauce, son. That you're lame, and you acknowledge, that you kowtow.
I think he's going off this little competitive thing between me and him. We'll let it ride for
all right. So the online stuff, did they, since this is like fundamentally different gameplay tied to DLC?
It's not that different. It added
sounds
a couple of elements, but
it sounds like they're splitting up the audience, right? If you don't buy the DLC, you cannot participate with all the other people that have the battle.
See, what was weird about it is like they should have allowed people, because what the game lacked from in the beginning was lack of content, and a lot of people liked it at first, praising it. Like the average, like I looked online, the average rating for this was about a 7 or 8. If you want to go across board with numbers,
which I do think is a little unfair.
Why so?
I think it's a little unfair because it's not really taking into account that this game is built primarily off of a nostalgia factor. They don't really make these types of games anymore.
Yeah,
so you can't gauge it just like any other game. Like this technically should be gauged against any of the Burnout games. And I would.
Burnout's a different element though. Like
Burnout, it's combat racing though. It's combat racing, and this is expanding into that realm. And at its trucks, that's what this is supposed to be.
Yeah.
Even in the standard Mantis Burn Racing game, you brutalize the other cars. You don't have direct weapons, but that's your goal. It's not just I'm faster than you, and I'm faster than you, and I was, I deboed you into the guardrail. I deboed you off this cliff.
Agreed.
So it's just like this is still a game that is coming from the top-down perspective, which is most games aren't played. Most racing games, aren't really designed like that anymore. So this is really targeting those.
Because most racing games nowadays are simulations, and it takes the fun out of the game. Like you don't have to get like a license. You have to play this game for like the first 15, 20 hours, like the first 10 hours. You have to license yourself in order for you to unlock extra numerous.
Yeah, I'm not.
That's what I enjoyed. Like you dived right in, but they needed more content from the rip. And what they did, I don't know if you looked it up. They released free content towards the beginning. Like the first round of DLC that came out was free. They added like a snow level, which was cool, and I thought that was pretty neat. And then the second DLC content just added more cars, which I thought was a little cheesy because they didn't add any more maps. I think the only thing this game suffers from is just lack of maps. And other than that, I think it'd be great. And personally, like I told you before, I thought it would be great on a handheld.
Yeah, you did mention that, and I agree with you there because the style of gameplay would really mesh well to a smaller screen, to quicker action, and then something you can just take on the go.
Yeah, I could spend hours on this on the train.
Definitely. I think that's... Well, hold on. Also, this is just the first DLC, and it's available on multiple systems. Who's to say they won't eventually carry over to Nintendo
Switch.
Yep.
Port it over, yeah.
Keep doing that, yeah.
It's because he doesn't have one.
Seems like a good fit.
It does.
Maybe even if they pull back the camera way back, like they did in the RC Racer Pro or whatever it's called. How the camera was
RC Pro Am, man.
And it's
not. We're not that old.
The camera covered the entire track in that game, right? So you saw everything. So maybe if they do something like that, that would probably warm the socks.
And
warm the
sky level
I don't
view
know.
is kind
And
of
also too, like just variety. But you know what? A variety in cars too. That pissed me off. Like all the cars look the same. DLC, new car, big gun on the same car that I was playing with in a while.
It's slightly purple instead of slightly orange on with one streak down there.
I got the fuchsia color, bro. You ain't
That's the one,
fuchsia
though.
enough on the track.
That's the one.
It's like, what you got? I got a tank class. Still can't go around corners.
Tangerine, bro.
And I would recommend cats play this, but it's fairly cheap. It's not. It's like $3.
It's not bad. You can get it across platform. The DLC is like $2, $3.
I would recommend playing it on. Like we played it for console, but I would recommend playing it for Steam.
Yeah,
because it's more of a quick action game, and you want to be able to jump online real quick. I don't imagine more people are playing this online on consoles than they would be on Steam. I got to give it a thumbs up, but thumbs up if you play it on Steam, because then you can represent, and it's a quick action game. You'll probably have 100 other Steam games to get to too. So dude, thumbs up all the way.
I want to give them a thumbs up, but I want to give them a thumbs down because if they had attacked the portable, if they attacked the portable market, they would have made a chunk of change on this.
Well, thumbs up and thumbs down, probably.
Yeah, so like
no, not both. Not both. You can't do that.
I'll give it a thumbs up. You know what? I'll give it a thumbs up because I actually enjoyed playing it. So I'll definitely give it a thumbs up. But somehow, some way, hopefully down the road they'll release it on a portable platform, and I guarantee this game will make numbers.
Yeah, this is just the first DLC. They got time.
Yeah, hopefully.
All right, so it's the game is called Mantis Burn Racing. This is the Battlecars DLC. 2 thumbs up. It's available from Vufu
Developers.
Vufu Studios.
And you can get on Xbox, PS4, Steam,
and
PC. Yep.
That's correct. All right, now I'm going to kick it over to man, just Johnny, because you got to play another game, my friend.
Yeah, I did. It's called
42.
Tokyo 42.
43.
44. No, just 42. Just 42.
I got my pimp name Slickback routine there.
So Tokyo 42, it's like it's an isometric shooter stealth city simulation game.
It's a game with an identity crisis, is what it is.
You said a lot right there. Yeah. I was like, what?
It's a Metroidvania
FPS
racing puzzle chess simulator.
No, none of those things. There's no roguelikes in this. It's pretty straightforward. You're playing as like this little tiny, almost looking like a stick figure, but it's all in 3D. And the camera is in this isometric view, looking down and everything, which is pretty important to the gameplay itself because you can only move the camera in certain angles, certain angular degrees.
Yep.
And because of that, you have to constantly move the camera around as you're moving around throughout the world itself.
If anyone's watching, we got video of the actual gameplay now, so because I don't understand what the hell you're trying to say, but if they can actually see for themselves.
So think of it like a diorama, right? The entire city is presented as a diorama because of the isometric view. And in order to see behind like a building or a stairwell, you have to rotate the camera in order to get a better view of things. So there's essentially 8 views. Every time you turn the camera, it's 45 degrees.
You're in charge of moving the camera?
You are in charge of moving the camera, but it's a very quick button flick. So you're constantly, it switches over real quick. So it's 45 degrees, hit the button, 45 degrees, hit the button again, 45. So it's really
you're both
quick.
Director and cinematographer.
Yes.
Do you do that as part of the gameplay? Like, is it you can only solve a puzzle if the camera's facing this way, so you have to rotate it right at this time?
Well, it's kind of like how you would control the camera in any other type of third-person isometric view, although I would say kind of like controlling the view in an isometric tactics game.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It has like a tactics feel.
Yeah. Except it's real-time instead of turn-based. So you have that going on, and then the other thing that you have going on is that the you have these shooting mechanics, and because the world itself is in 3D, but you have you can only use the mouse or you can use the controller. I flip between the two of them. Controller is absolutely awful. It's almost impossible to play with the controller just because you can't really aim exactly where you want to aim with either the guns or the grenades. The best bet is the katana. So if you're doing the stealthy missions, the katana is absolutely the way to go, or the automatic because you're just spray and pray, and eventually you're going to hit something because you're using an automatic, but you're going to die a lot because your aiming is so off. And the problem with the aiming is that it's with the 3D part of the world. So with the controller, it's bad, and with the mouse, you'd expect it to be better, right? Because you can very easily pinpoint exactly where you're going to be aiming. Way more accurate, what you would think. But what actually happens is that the height of the world itself is actually going against you. Now,
seems like it'd be a detriment. I'm watching the on the video here. Everything looks so damn tiny.
Yes.
That can't be easy to continuously focus on.
That is another problem with the game. Now, all right.
And he just literally committed suicide. So I'm just
you have a jump button, so not only is it
now, do you take damage
thing,
when you jump?
There's no damage on jumping, but it's very much a platformer, so you do have to worry about where you're jumping, and because you're worrying about these platforming elements, you have to constantly rotate the camera. So now
I feel like you're literally describing my version of hell here. It's like it's a platform, but I'm looking top down from a 3D perspective.
Yep.
And if the camera's not faced the exact right way, I'm gonna think I'm stepping off the sidewalk and instead plummet off this building.
Yes, absolutely, and that is yet another thing that's problematic with this.
See, what happens is then he's gonna go down this stairwell, go through that door there, and he's gonna be in his third grade class in his underwear. He didn't study for the SATs.
And then he'll
speaking
find
of
the
underwear,
Yeah.
there is so this takes place in the future, in sort of this Neo Tokyo future, and
Everyone's in
there's
their underwear.
nudists all over the place.
Is
So
that
they'll
the
be
vending
little
machine
tiny.
that sells underwear from women and stuff?
You can buy clothes. You can
That's
buy
now.
different
Well,
coats and whatnot.
Wait,
There
he
is
just- he just
a
said the
nudist
nudist
park. Yeah, there's a nudist park in this game. You
Really?
can go there.
That's
Oh yeah,
awesome.
there's a bunch of little tiny
Don't
people
get
there.
so excited.
What-
We're
so,
looking
hold
at
on,
the
so
stick-
what's
these
the,
are stick
what's
figure
the
people.
synopsis
What
for
kind of-
this? I want to know
synopsis-
what's my goal here?
The goal is
Because it sounds
pretty-
like I'm just perving out.
yeah.
in the game.
The story it's pretty
What perving out?
stupid,
They're
but
stick figures.
they are stick figures. They're cubic though. They're like cubic stick figures.
So you're looking at some square boobs.
Yes.
That's what gets you off there.
Hey,
square
listen,
boobs,
These
square.
checking out the cube boobs here.
Yeah.
You immerse into the character.
Yep.
Square boobs is what
So
get
the
them
premise is
man.
that you are
This is a sad state.
you're just some random person, and you turn on the news, and there was this assassination, this murder. Now in this world, no one actually dies because they can they can live again. I forgot how, whether it was through cloning or whatever, but
Wow,
you
they
can
can get a stick
you can
transplant.
respawn in this world. That's like a normal part of day-to-day life, is that you're constantly respawning. Except one person actually died and was actually assassinated,
Oh, wow.
and it
Paradox.
was you.
Wait,
You did it. You know?
Wait,
You're the
died
assassin, or you're
Well,
the
that's
person who
what's
got
shown on the
assassinated?
news. And,
Oh, so you're being framed for a crime you didn't commit.
well, you don't know if you're being framed or not. It's sort of,
Framed for a crime he damn
it
well
could be
knows
like
he
a
committed.
memory missing thing. You don't know as you're playing through, and you're trying to figure out what happened. And assassinations and killing people, that's like the ultimate, no, don't kill anyone. Except
Wait. So what's all this? Well, you're this little guy jumping from here to here stuff. You start with that next time.
Yeah.
Okay. It's like you're assassinating people, you're killing folks, and then there's a mystery to be solved. So you're a detective as well. You start with that. Next time.
all right.
Now I'm sold.
So you
Before you
start.
show me stick figures and talk about square boobs, and now you get to the real the meat of it.
Well, you start as an innocent, and then as you're and then I don't know, a minute into the game,
You
you're
become a badass.
gunning down people,
Nice.
trying to
That's
prove that you are not the assassin. It makes no sense.
Don't worry,
at all.
you'll be back.
I didn't kill nobody. Blam, blam, blam. Please believe me.
Technically,
Yeah.
he did it because they
Please believe me.
respawn. Technically, he doesn't kill anybody.
Well,
I'm assuming.
somebody did.
So you essentially become a contract assassin, for hire, and you're going to these like little vending machines and these little kiosks, and you're picking up new missions, and there's this really bad story dialogue happening to allow you to progress.
I'm sorry to cut you off.
Yep.
This sounds like this game for the Genesis I used to play way back in the day. I loved, actually. It was a rotoscope. It was called Flashback, where you wake up on an alien planet. You have no idea. You have no memory of how you got there, where you are, who you are. But you've got guns on you, and you've got like all these ill like assassin skills, and you have no clue like what your past is and how you ended up in this predicament. Is this along that same lines?
I've never played Flashback, so I would say if you're familiar with No More Heroes,
Yeah.
Okay.
you
That was a good
can.
game.
The premise of No More Heroes is very much like this, except this is
All right,
just looking at it, you can see the differences.
No masturbation recharge in Flashback. Sorry.
Yeah, no beam katana, none of that awesome stuff. Unfortunately.
Unfortunately, you've been looking at those square boobs too long, man. That's the problem.
I mean, all right, so the game is beautiful looking, right? Because the art
it does look
style
good.
looks really good. It's very clean, very crisp looking artwork. And the whole city, they pretty much imagined and built an entire Tokyo city. And there are like these sort of like street markets that you can go through. There's like these high garden areas. There's like these Japanese castle things that you can go through. There's like weird Hello Kitty oriented stuff. I don't know if it's exactly Hello Kitty, but
it's
stuff like that.
It's like Shenmue as viewed from a satellite.
Right. But
That's actually a
way
pretty good way
more
to put that.
it's completely open world.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Shenmue.
Shenmue
was. It's just the problem was it was designed a little too realistically. So to get across the town, you literally had to wait for a bus.
There's
Yeah,
no
yeah.
right.
Or you could
So
walk.
there is no teleportation,
ran.
sort of like a cut to a load screen. There's no load screen.
Mhm.
You can go from one area of the world to another. You're moving really slow. The world itself is a little bit too big, but it's big because it needs to be big in order for you to dodge bullets. There's a lot of buttons in this game, and it's kind of complex. And when you're in combat, it's like a bullet hell almost, and your own aiming is working against you. So really, there's only one useful gun in this entire game, and that's the rifle, the assault rifle, because it's automatic and you can spray and pray because the aiming is so bad. And then the enemies
around over there was some kind of like mortar you fired across the building there. That seemed pretty handy.
Sure,
long
but
drop.
that ties into the stealth missions. So the stealth missions are actually really, really
Mortars are
solid.
not- Shelling people from above is not very stealthy.
Well, if you're not in direct combat, the game is great because you don't have to work against dodging bullets, which is near impossible to respond to them, or you don't have to worry about aiming precisely. But when you're doing the stealth parts of this game, it's actually really good. The AI is a little dumb, and yet there isn't any like super interesting scenario, so you're going to get bored with it. But that's where the game shines, in the stealth. It needed to be that.
That map's huge.
It's massive. The map itself is absolutely massive. But it's a problem where when crap hits the fan, you cannot control properly. You're not able to respond properly. So now you're just resorting to spraying all over the place. And
I'm okay with that. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to play this, but I'm going to play like MOP's greatest hits the whole time.
I know.
So anytime I get one of those, so I go machine gun Kelly.
Play the New Jack City. Like that block right there, I'm going to take it over like Nino Brown.
Exactly.
Raise people.
Exactly. The whole thing, I'm going to call the whole thing.
You can't just come up these steps pimping.
And so
People just want to get high.
All right, so Johnny, well, I think we're boring Adam. So at the crux of it, what makes this worth playing, or what makes this pass worth passing?
This is absolutely worth passing on. I'm gonna give it a thumbs down. Because
everything you said sounded so ill.
It
Like
sound
you
pretty
really
interesting.
thumbs
This
up.
is one of those games that you look at it like, wow, that game looks incredible. It looks so good. It looks so fun to play.
It is very pretty.
I'm telling you this right now. It is
sexy-looking game.
not fun. You're going to struggle throughout the whole thing. It was a struggle. There was this one mission, actually this mission right over here, where I was trying to.
Yeah,
the one that's on video.
Like it bounced off the wall and killed innocent people.
I'm trying to like kill this guy. You have to kill the guy with a grenade, and it's very early on mission, and I had to replay it like, I don't know, 30 times because it was so hard, because the aiming is so bad in this game, both with keyboard and mouse or with control. I tried both. It was so hard.
That stuff kills me. I remember we were talking about GTA 3, the first 3D one, and there was one mission. You had to beat a guy by throwing, start the mission by throwing a grenade through a second-story window.
Yeah.
And that was before they had any kind of like any real coordination. You just had to get to the space, drive there, get there in time, hit the button in just the right spot with just the right amount of pressure that the grenade goes through the second-story window. And if you don't,
the game
naturally
great,
bounce
though.
back and you blow yourself up with the grenade, and you have to start all over, which means you have to drive across the entire Central Park to get there. And it was a pain in the ass. It took me like 2 days, and I hated it with a passion.
Yeah,
that's what I'm hearing here.
Oh, restarting, you restart right then and there. The restart is fantastic, but it's still a like they put it like this is probably one of the best restarts of a mission, right? You die, boom, you're back in the action immediately, split second, no delay, you're in the mission again, but you still die like 40 times, and there's almost nothing you can do that's different because the enemies have way better weapons. Their bullets travel way faster than your bullets.
Their girls' cubes are bigger than your girls' cubes.
Yeah, they have a notion of bullet speed in this game, and different guns have faster traveling bullets. And of course, all the guns you have, their bullets travel so slow, and the enemy bullets, so early in the game, the enemy bullets are going like, I don't know, light speed. So it's like impossible to dodge. There's so many problems with this game, but it looks so good. The world is built so well.
Yeah,
it's just a game I wanted to like really love playing and enjoy. I had a feeling I would, but unfortunately, it's just the gameplay. It needs some major reworking, especially with the targeting system and a bunch of other things. Like you kill the citizens that are around, and you'll lose points. So you can't like you're hitting everything because you can't aim well. So right, and then you're getting penalized for it.
All right, so Adam, you hear that? You got to pass.
I hear it for sure.
All right, Adam was planning. Shouldn't I? Just Johnny gives
Swifty.
Thumbs down.
Yeah, Swifty.
Tokyo 42.
He was pondering whether he should just take a
40, 39. Am I the only one that watched Boondocks? Yeah. That was great stuff.
No, it's a pill you do not want to swallow.
Okay. Actually,
the Percocet lab.
All right, so that was Tokyo 42. Johnny says it can suck it. Dude, I got to talk about this comic, Doctor Who, The Lost Dimension. And this is the new comic that came out. They actually previewed it at Free Comic Book Day this year.
Oh, okay.
Well, this is the story of all the doctors coming together. And you know they only do a story where they combine different doctors when it's going down, or if it's like a Christmas special or some random goodness like that. Well, this is truly a deep referencing love letter to Doctor Who fans, and not just fans of the most recent few years series, from the 9th Doctor to the to now up until the new female Doctor that's premiering later on. Oh, actually, in 2018. This goes all the way back. Like they introduced the Colin Baker Doctor. They had the old school Doctors. People make appearances in this. I loved that, and I'm really anxious to hear you guys' opinion, because am I incorrect in assuming that I'm the only Doctor Who fan in the room right now?
Yep. Okay. I tried to.
Tried?
Yeah, like I've said before, like it's such a deep history, and it's such a long and like storied show, and I just don't know where to start. Mm-hmm. And so like trying to like dig in right now, and you're saying like you have to have that, like you have to be indoctrinated and everything. Like I'm not there.
Okay, you know what? No,
I haven't seen the more recent stuff. Like I know the old school stuff. Like I told you earlier, like I grew up on
Doctor Who's growing up.
Yeah, those are. I was poor and it was on network TV. I was like, yeah, whatever, man. I'll watch it. That's awesome.
Hey, no better reason.
I just wish I had like a doobie with me at the time. Like
when you were 7? Come on, man.
Yeah, I'm serious. It would have been awesome.
Wow.
But I said,
Mama, we got a Fruit Loops.
Yeah, don't worry about it, Ma. It's just a plan.
All right, well, Herb. How about you, man? Doctor Who?
Wait, a fan of Doctor Who?
Yeah.
Doctor Who?
Okay, stop.
But he was
okay, no more for you today.
He almost hit that too, like.
Man, I'm talking about Doctor Who. Anyone who doesn't know or is unfamiliar with the Lord, Doctor Who is a citizen of Gallifrey called the Time Lord. He's here on Earth because this is kind of his adopted second home, and he protects Earth from extraterrestrial threats. Alien cultures try to take over, but get all up in our stuff for some reason or another. They want to enslave humanity. They want to tap the Earth for resources. They're just dicks and want to start war with people because they do that. That's what the Centaurans are, and that's different factions have different motivations, and they all fear the Doctor. Why? Because the Doctor is the only one that has our backs, and he's the most formidable threat to the extraterrestrial threats to us. So he's a good guy to have on our side. Now, what happens is when something threatens not just the Earth, but this whole dimension of reality in itself, and the Doctor has to seek out help, he calls on any of his allies. When the Doctor when the Doctor's allies encompass previous iterations of the Doctor, like, past lives he's had, then it's really some stuff going down. And this is the story of not just one or two or three Doctors combining forces, but all of them from different realms coming together, because the threat is that real. I got into this, and as I mentioned, it's a story that you kind of really you don't absolutely have to know Doctor Who from beginning to end to understand what's happening in the story, but this really went into itself. Like, this story was deep up the ass of the Doctor Who lore, to the point where even in the first issue, there's characters that you would have no idea, and they did a very poor job of explaining. If you hadn't known who they were from the TV show or any of the outside media, you would have no clue whatsoever how they actually fit in any kind of logical realm. So that's one thing I think was actually a failing of the book. But that's the primary failing, and really the only failing. Beyond that, I actually like the story. We're still into it. We only got to check out a couple of issues because they haven't released the whole thing yet. But from what I saw, I really dug where this promises to go. So, I mean, I'd like to know you guys' thoughts.
I liked it. I was actually anxious. I just actually finished reading the second issue. I thought it was only one issue you gave me, but I'm anxious to see how they intertwine all the different personalities of each Doctor. Like, I just, culminate them into one, like, splash page and just see, how everybody gets off on their own terms. So, but I'm actually, like I told you, I haven't seen any of the most recent stuff, so I'm actually excited. It makes me want to watch some more recent stuff.
Well, no, there's good reason to. And you're right. That's a good point you made. I'm glad you brought that up, because one thing I did notice in the writing and the dialogue and interactions between characters, they did capture, at least for the ones that they showed in the brief time that we got them, they did show the different personalities of the Doctors. This wasn't just one style of writing across the board. This was actually written by somebody who was a fan and acknowledged and knew the different personality types. So you have the 12th Doctor, who's a jerk. You have the 11th Doctor, who's a little too quirky for his own good. Captain Jack was in there, and he's kind of a cocky a-hole, and he's only on for like a few panels, but they nailed that, and then they worked him out. I'm pretty sure he'll be back later. He's Captain Jack.
Do you have a favorite Doctor?
My personal favorite Doctor is David Tennant. He's the 10th Doctor, and mostly, that's the one everybody loves. People are crazy about David Tennant, unless they like the older Doctors, and even then, the 12th is their favorite, and 10th like the second. I like him because he's the way I would be if I was the Doctor.
A jerk.
No, not at all. That's the 12th. Thank you, brother. Thank you for that. No, but he has a sense of humor. He enjoys being the Doctor. He knows I'm gonna die someday. Let me have fun now. So and he's the one, like, you get in his face, he gets real serious and shows, hey, look, I was laughing before, but now you done goofed. All right. But until then, like, he's just walking around, he got his trench coat on, he's got his chucks, and he's just hanging. He's going on cruises, he's just kicking it, making friends, he's dapping up, cohorts and stuff. I'm like, this dude is me if I was the Doctor. That's why he's my favorite. But I would recommend the one, if anyone wants to catch up on the new series, the Christopher Eccleston 9th Doctor, who's heavily featured in the first issue. The first issue of this comic series is the way to go. And this actually captures part of his personality and why he'd be a good Doctor to start with. Now, as you said, you were unfamiliar?
Yes.
Okay. So now here's where I think the book does you a disservice as somebody who's not intimately familiar with all the Doctors, or at least the latest series.
Right.
A lot of the dialogue in the first couple of issues really deals with history between the characters from the show. So if you never watched that, they're just talking back and forth to each other like they're old friends, and they're leaving you out of it. It's like you're eavesdropping on some stranger's conversation.
It's kind of dangerous in the first couple episodes of anything. You know what I mean? So it's like that's where you're starting, and it's like if I don't adapt or I don't connect with anything in those first episodes, I'm going to lose interest.
Yeah, so, and I think they're too heavily relying on this will be primarily fans buying, and then they'll get their own friends to read. And that's how they'll expand the audience. You can't really.
Since you're like the Doctor Who aficionado, to cut you off, brother.
Yep.
The Doctor Who aficionado in the room. does he like since he wants to start like should he start with the older stuff?
No, because
Or can he just jump right into like the newer, more modernized version of it?
you can jump into any season of Doctor Who. The problem with it is, depending on where you want to start, it's already like deeply immersed in its own universe. I would say start with the Ninth Doctor, but the problem with that is Christopher Eccleston is one of those people that he did it for the time. He had his reasons for doing it, and then he was really against having it rebroadcast and getting involved further. So his episodes are really hard to find. You may have to take to the internet, may have to go to some less reputable sources for that. Who said that? Her. But those were the best place to start because they acknowledged Doctor Who hadn't been on the air for a good 10 plus years.
Yeah.
People aren't as familiar with it as they were back in the 70s, 80s, maybe a couple of TV movies in the 90s. So they reintroduced it, and they reintroduced it slowly but effectively. By David Tennant, you watch the show and you acknowledge it has a history you're not familiar with, but you can catch up.
Yeah.
By the time it got to the 11th Doctor, played by Matt Smith, it was deep into itself. So if you hadn't at least like checked out some stuff online on the side to familiarize yourself, you're just, this is the show, some stuff is happening, I'm lost, but I'm entertained. So it's that type of media to focus that focuses on. And the new this new comic, I can tell it's a really good story, but anyone else who's not as familiar with it as I am, and I'm by no means an expert. I appreciate using the term aficionado, but dude, there are old heads that would be dropping names. The species did this, and then this time this, and so and so. My main thing is I'll be posting memes of who would win in a fight, the Borg or the Cyberman.
Yeah.
And I'm like, the amount of love the Borg's getting shows that people really have no idea what the Cybermen are capable of. They are thorough. All right. But okay, so y'all got my impressions, man. I actually like this, but as I'm a fan, I will point out to anyone who is a fan of the show, they'll understand what I mean by this. The first issue introduces the Doctor's daughter and a brief view of the Colin Baker Doctor. Anyone who's intimately familiar will know why they intertwine, and also why that would do a heavy disservice to anyone who's not a fan.
Yeah.
To y'all who aren't, I want to get your impressions of the story so far, man.
As far as I'm an avid comic reader, it paced well. Splash covers were great for me. Dialogue was well written. The guy said the pirate. Remember the page with the pirate? I'm gonna key haul you in your blessed box. I was on the floor when I read that. I think I might use that on somebody next week.
You gonna tell somebody you gonna keel haul in a blessed box?
Yep, right in the blessed box.
Say that to a chick, you gonna get slapped.
Oh, never know.
I'm gonna keel haul your box, officer.
It's blessed.
No, like I said, I had no entry point into this, so like trying to get into it was a little rough, but the artwork was great.
Okay,
Writing
was good, it was beautifully
you know?
drawn. I do really appreciate
it. It really was. So like I got through it, but like I said, like it did inspire me though to like want to dig backwards and figure this stuff out too. So like it made me a fan, even though like I can't be a fan of this now because I don't know what the hell's going on.
Cool.
So.
All right, and Johnny, you awfully quiet over there.
I didn't read it, so.
What? Oh, come on, man.
Bastard.
I'm not a Doctor Who fan. I watched a few episodes.
Fan, baby.
I watched a few episodes of the TV series, and this was curated for me by a major Doctor Who fan, and they, here's the best set of episodes to get you started into liking Doctor Who. I watched them. It wasn't for me. It wasn't for me. It was like someone trying to get me into Star Trek. It's not for me.
Quick question. Was it a combination of different Doctor Who's, or was it like someone like a set episode of a certain series? Or
it was a combo. One of them is, I guess, the famous one with the statues.
Okay, so he gave you like the
Weeping Angel.
The Weeping Angel things, and when you're not looking at them, they can move towards you, and if they touch you, you're dead or something like that.
Weeping Angels are cool if you get like 9 or 10 episodes of lore surrounding them. Then they are dope.
Well, it was a standalone.
They're like, what the hell these crying bullshit ass statues gonna do for me?
It was a standalone episode, so it was like one of those things that you can watch and not have any context at all, and it was kind of framed as like a pseudo horror kind of film.
They do that, but it's difficult to try to compartmentalize something so huge into one episode, and then try to sell somebody on it. It's something that if you didn't get on the Doctor Who, don't worry about it. There's plenty of other good sci-fi out there. But if you ever have a chance and just like really want to give the effort to, you will find something. Like the different Doctors are different enough that makes the series different. It's like we mentioned with Star Trek. There's different
Captains,
shows
yeah.
appeal to different audiences.
It's
Doctor
like,
Who's
what
the
if
same.
you changed Duncan MacLeod in Highlander over and over again?
Okay, no,
That's
that's a good example too.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
difference between Connor MacLeod
Yeah.
and Duncan MacLeod,
Yeah.
or even better, the difference between, are you a Duncan story guy or are you a Richie story guy?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like there's different things that appeal to everybody, but don't feel obligated.
Richie.
Yeah.
You know, this is the type of book that I can tell this is written deeply for fans,
Yeah.
and it's an interesting read if you're not a fan, but it's really not something you should feel the need to delve into because it's just like it's kind of designed to leave you in the dust if you're unfamiliar. I'm bummed to say that because I would love for something this big to be the first induction of like new Doctor Who fans, you know?
Yeah.
Well, it might be. You know what I mean?
Might be.
So I might dig it now. You know?
I gotta give it a thumbs up, but you know the point of view I'm coming from.
Right.
Thumbs up for me. It was
Well, if
good
you're a
comic,
fan and you
baseball.
liked it, though, that's all that matters, right?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
yes or
just
no.
like,
It
you
should
don't
have a
gotta worry
wide
about
appeal
everything
too. It's not the Doctor Who show. It's a comic.
Right.
Yeah.
What do you think? Thumbs up, thumbs down.
I'm gonna give it a thumbs up because it did really like kind of make me want to dig a little deeper and get into this a little more.
Okay.
So
Wow.
like
Three
if that
thumbs up.
you know what I mean, that's all you can ask for in a comic for anybody that's not indoctrinated already. So
I'm
let's get ready.
look whose heart grew 3 sizes this day.
I gotta pee, man. I gotta.
all right. This has been the Geek Down here on WEMF. I want to thank you all for joining us for another action-packed, fun-filled show. I want to thank Dirty D.
Yo.
I want to thank Black Adam Willis.
Yep.
I want to thank Just Johnny.
Yo.
I want to thank DJ Herbie Herb. Woo. And I want to thank you, listeners, for watching us, for listening to us, for spending this time with us. And now it's time to say goodbye to Herb and all his. Okay, I'll stop. All right, but now you can catch us on WEMFradio.com. If you want to hear the audio, you can hit us up at geekdownradio@gmail.com. If you have anything you want to say, you want to chime in and tell us how right we are, how wrong we were, etc., you can hit us up at geek-down.com. That's the website. And if you go to the About section, you can find links to our Facebook, to our YouTube, to our SoundCloud, iTunes, all that good stuff is in there. Twitter, everything, man. And you can catch us all next showtime. But until then, be excellent to each other. Peace. These chairs are all... I'm going down the streets and I'm feeling